As a proud Chicano aspiring educator, I must ask a question that relates to the lives and experiences of my students. This administration has continued to deport children and their families while simultaneously building the wall. Children continue to die at the wall because of this country's inhumane policies, much like the policies, crimes and funded against those in Palestine. 47 families in Gaza have been completely removed from the civil registry since the bombing began, meaning genocide. These families don't exist anymore. A UN school was bombed last week by Israel, killing 30 students and 11 UN staff. Just today, I know y'all saw the news. Today, Israel bombed the last Christian hospital in Gaza, killing over 500 doctors, children, and refugees. You know, my grandpa, Arnold Otero, who is in the audience today, told me one thing growing up as an educator, and that is that no one can ever take away your right to education. And so I ask you today, Madam Vice President Harris, as an educator, why take away the life of the children in Gaza and at the border, which ultimately takes away the fundamental right of education? Thank you.
So you brought up a lot of issues, and there's a lot to unpack. Let us start with this. I absolutely understand, and it is my lived experience with the first subject that you raised, to know that this is a nation that was founded by immigrants. I am the child of a mother who came to the United States by herself when she was 19 years old, and I sit here as Vice President of the United States. I am acutely aware of the connection between immigrants and who we are as a country. And I feel very strongly about the importance of always recognizing America's history and current responsibility to acknowledge that. I will also say that it is important that we have a safe, orderly, and fair immigration system. When Joe Biden and I came into office, the first piece of legislation, I think it was the day after our inauguration, that we proposed was Pathway to Citizenship. And Republicans in Congress have purposely not picked it up because they have decided it is in their political best interest to create an issue in a way that they can then politicize and play games with the lives of people, many of whom are fleeing or have fled harm or just a basic inability to take care of themselves and their families. And part of our immigration system has always recognized the importance of being a place where people who have a legitimate fear of harm can receive and seek, at the very least, asylum. So that's how I feel on the issue of immigration. On the issue of what is happening in the Middle East, I believe that Israelis and Palestinians both deserve peace, deserve self-determination, and deserve safety. I am deeply, deeply affected, as I think we all are, by what we have seen in terms of the loss of life and the violence that has occurred when, first of all, a terrorist organization, Hamas, struck Israel in the way that it did. I think it is important to recognize also the distinction between a terrorist organization, Hamas, and the Palestinian people and civilians, and they should not be conflated. And we must have a response to that in a way that we understand as humans that this suffering that is happening is something we must take seriously. So I appreciate you raising the subject, and I appreciate your leadership.